thing I kind of looked at with the script was the characters.
What is that smell?
It's proper nasty, girl.
Because it was kind of what goes on is not secondary, obviously, because it's a horror, but yeah, that was kind of the thing I looked at.
Hey, where you go?
Would it go down for my girl?
I think all of us tried to give all of our characters like a, sorry to sound like such an actor, but we tried to give our characters journeys and kind of allow them to live in in a real world as much as possible. And yeah, I think we all know somebody like our characters in it, so kind of had to find that maybe by looking at people we knew.
I only meant to scare him. The fire got out of control.
Lloyd was an interesting one because there are people that I know are like Lloyd, but maybe act like Lloyd would have acted before he did time. And then also people that kind of are where he wants to be. And so I just kind of meshed them together and tried to find something in the middle.
Not even sure.
I know. You're not going to mind when it does.
He wants to spend time with his friends, I think. I think he wants to be with his friends. But I think most importantly, he wants to spend the evening with his girlfriend. I think he just wants to chill out and have a nice night. But as is often the way with friends, they kind of have a habit of pulling you into things and you can't quite resist. So initially, I think that for Lloyd, it's a get in, get out kind of thing. Maybe spend an hour there and then go home and see his missus. But it kind of, as it spirals out of control and Gemma goes missing, he kind of, I think he's not having fun anymore, to say the least.
What do you want me to do then?
I just want you to... Just leave me alone.
He's very focused, but he's kind of got these obstacles that keep getting thrown in the way, and I kind of think that's sort of representative of what he's got ahead, really. He wants to move on with his life and do something good, be a good dad and a good boyfriend.
Gemma, let's go.
I think Lloyd doesn't care if Jason leads everybody because he doesn't really see himself in that way. I think he's just kind of like, I'll do me, they can do them. You know, if Jason wants to be like the king of the castle, then he can be, it's fine.
Listen, fuck that. Come here, Cole.
But he really loves his friends, I think. I think he genuinely cares about his friends, and you know, particularly Gary and Cole. I think he's got, he feels a responsibility, kind of almost parental responsibility, which kind of, I guess, leads to leadership responsibilities.
Listen to me. I'm just gonna fucking rush him, okay?
I think most people can identify with that feeling of wanting to change your environment and change your life as much as possible. I think it's kind of a lot of people experience that, particularly people that kind of are in danger of becoming a product of their environment. And myself, like I kind of felt very stuck where I was brought up, and I've got a lot of love for where I was brought up now, you know, when I look back. But I know that when I was a teenager, I wanted nothing more than to get out and to see the world as much as possible. So yeah, I could identify with Lloyd. Hoods definitely is a director that kind of, he'll give you time to discuss it before we shoot. So we had a rehearsal period to sort of discuss our characters, and we gave them all backstories and all that kind of stuff, which I hadn't really done before. So that was, you know, it was really beneficial, it was really fun as well. But Hood's just the kind of guy that will leave you to it, but if you need him for anything, he's there. And I think over the few weeks, we haven't really spoken about it, and we still haven't, but I think we kind of had like a little sort of language where we could kind of look at each other and go, it's too much, it's too little. It's like, you know, without having to kind of run over to each other all the time. But Hoods is really good in that way. he's great to work with, and he just throws you off. He's so good at because he kind of stays in character when when we're shooting, particularly the kind of the fight sequence between me, him, and Dwayne.
Where is she? I will tear your face apart, piece by fucking piece.
He very much kind of kept and doing all his whistling and stuff, and it comes a point sometimes when you're doing that stuff and you're thinking technically about the fight, and then you look into his eyes and you just go, fuck, I'm sorry, what? And it kind of takes you out of it a little bit, but yeah, no, Jeff's great. Mentally and physically, it kind of took its toll, and a lot of running about, and I do a fair bit of gurning in this film because I've been spiked. So yeah, it kind of, by the end, I was asleep by 10 or 11 every night. Yeah, I think we all did. Nobody was complacent on this.
340, take one, here, camera mark. Be marker.
Raise your voices, guys.
And action.
I think we didn't really know it at the time, but we had our moments. Being shoved in those little corners and those rooms. Of course, there's going to be tension, and there's going to be kind of little irritants, and yeah, we had a bit of that. But it was, at the end of the day, it was all hugs and see you tomorrow.
She ignoring you. She must be vexed, boy.
But yeah, it's kind of, I think it helped a lot, particularly between me and Adam. That's not me saying that me and Adam we didn't fall out at all. But I just mean it was good that we could have that kind of that close proximity.
It's better have all of what I said. Have a drink with me, innit?
I really liked the scene in the party flat where Adam spikes me, and we have a little moment with each other that's kind of he says sorry, and there's that I don't know, that's a vanity thing. I like that scene because I thought, it was all right. I was really worried about that when we actually did it. So for me, I was that was more of a relief. If you watch really carefully, there's a few scenes where me and Adam might just be going like that every now and then, and that's basically just kicking each other. Adam got a knife out once and stuck it to his shoe and just... No, I'm joking. No one lives in horror films. I was really glad. And it's always the stoner. It's always the stoner that survives, or the girl. I was glad that I survived, and that Sophie survived as well, and the baby. That's nice. That's nice. I don't have a problem with babies, particularly not my own. I'm really digging myself into a hole here, so you can stop me whenever you like. It's important to make sure the characters are identifiable and as real as possible, because you get a lot of horror films where it's just these kind of faceless, this is this kind of guy, this is this kind of guy, this is this kind of girl, and they're gonna die, so it doesn't really matter. They're kind of expendable.
Man, listen to him. Mr. Big Man ex-con.
Lloyd strikes me as somebody who has probably done a fair bit of bad in his life. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think that he wants better for himself and for his girlfriend. He probably wants better for his friends as well. But his friends kind of stuck in a bit of a cycle, and stuck in a bit of a rut that they can't get out of. And every now and then he kind of gets pulled down with them. And when the film starts, he's kind of, I think, in a transition period where he's just come out of jail for 3 months, and he kind of wants to set himself straight. He doesn't want to be any kind of leader of anything. I think he just wants to get on and do his own thing. But for whatever reason, his friends look up to him, apart from Jason, who very much wants to be the leader. I think Hood's keeping us apart for the first few days, certainly, for as long as he could maintain it, because obviously if you've got someone like Dwayne on set, who is just one of the loveliest people ever, but he's a little kid running around looking for Jeff to try and wind him up. Obviously, you can't sustain it. But no, I mean, it was really good having that kind of air of mystery about him. And I think it helped us all kind of feel a bit on edge about who this mysterious Jeff Bell was. And we had a little moment, actually. We kind of passed each other, and I gave him one of these. Like, eyes. We crossed in the hallway, and he kind of went, yeah. It's great, that. That was good fun. Mentally and physically, it kind of took its toll. After, I think we were shooting for 5 or 6 weeks. And after day and, you know, every day being in those dark corridors and those sets, you kind of, it gets into you a little bit. I know it sounds ridiculous because you know it's all plywood and you know, but yeah, it kind of gets into you a little bit. A lot of the early stuff between us when we're, you know, in the abandoned house and running about in the with the Bangla boys, that all that stuff was really good. Anything with all of us together. Whoa, no, you crazy. She's not doing that.
All right, Dad.
They were the most exciting days. And there were a few days as well where it was just me and Hoods and the crew, and it was like, you know, it was only like a day or 2 days, but you could feel it. And you kind of missed, and we had that as well. We had that kind of, as people were getting bumped off in the script, they're kind of getting bumped off on the shoot. So by the end, it was just me and Dwayne and Sophie. Yeah, it was lonely. It was lonely by the end. We all really went for it as much as we could. We wanted it to be good.